How to memorize long verses. Inshallah, in this video, I'll be answering the question that was put in the comments to one of the other videos of how to memorize. They asked the question, this is for short verses, but how can I memorize long verses? Now, to start off with, long verses are nothing more than a longer version of short verses. And in many of the long verses, you have the alamatul waqf. So the alamatul waqf mean the signs, the stopping signs that the ulama have put into the masahif of the Quran, the copies of the Quran, in which you can use to ensure that you do not run out of breath and you're preserving the meaning. The main reason they're there is to preserve the meaning. So if you look at a long verse, normally they will have these alamat within that long verse to ensure that you as a reader know where to stop when you are reciting or even learning that verse. And those alamatul waqf are actually very good for Hifz student to use to break up the long ayat too. So for example, if you have an ayah, and inshallah we'll be looking at one of the ayat from Surah Ali Imran, which is on the first page, I believe it's ayah number 5, 6, 7. You can see that that long ayah is maybe about 5 or 6 lines, depending on what mushaf copy you're using, maybe 6 or 7 if you're using a different copy, lines long. How are you supposed to memorize that? You can't memorize it like a short verse. But what you can do is you can break the ayat up into those alamatul waqf and use it to memorize. So inshallah, I will teach you how to do that now on video. Of course, remember, you should always have a teacher, because that teacher who is Hafiz has gone through the process of memorization and they will be able to aid you in these matters. So if you look at the verse now, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب منه آيات محكمات هن أم الكتاب وأخر متشابهات. That is the first section. وأخر متشابهات. You'll see the alama there, I think it's a sili, which is one of the first stops. فأما الذين في قلوبهم زيغ فيتبعون ما تشابه منه ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله. So here we have another alama. I believe this is a qili, and this one you should stop here. وما يعلم تأويله إلا الله. There's another alama here, so you will stop here too. والراسخون في العلم يقولون آمنا به كل من عند ربنا. Another alama of waqf here. وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب. So now the ayah ends. So we can see that we've stopped at every place of the alamatul waqf. By the way, I'm doing this off memory, but I believe it's suli, qili, and then I believe it's another suli there, and then it goes on to the final ayat. Could be a qili, the last one too. So actually memorizing the alamat is very important, because again it preserves the meaning. If you do not know Arabic and you haven't studied any Arabic, then you must stick to the alamatul waqf and not try to stop at places where you don't know. There's a whole science of starting and stopping, and indeed Ali radiallahu anh, he put a great emphasis on learning how to start and stop, and that's why there is the science of starting and stopping in the tajweed, which is really important. It's not taught as much in the early stages of tajweed, it's always taught in the later stages of tajweed. And you must learn that, of course, especially if you're memorizing the Quran. Inshallah, my plan is to make a tajweed course in which you can benefit from, and it will also cover the normal rules of tajweed, but also the alamatul waqf, which are the signs of stopping, and also the science of starting and stopping, which is al-waqf wal-ibtida, which is stopping and starting. That's how they say it, because normally you stop and then you have to start from a certain place. That's really important, especially if you're a Hifz student, to be able to start and stop to preserve the meaning. Of course, if you understand Arabic, or you understand a certain level of Arabic at the very least, then starting and stopping becomes a lot easier. because you understand the meaning and you know, okay, if I stop here, then it might change the meaning. But if I stop at this place, it will preserve the meaning, and then I can go back and I can start and repeat from a certain place. That is essentially how you do it. Now, how to memorize a long verse? Essentially, you just use the same memorization technique as taught before, but you apply it to the long verses using the alamatul waqf. The problem comes in when you have, for me anyway, is the medium-sized verses and running out of breath. And inshallah, I'll do another video on that on the channel, in which we'll talk about what to do if you run out of breath, and also how to regulate your breath, because this is something that you have to plan for as a reciter. Jazakallah khair, and I'll see you in the next video.